everyone! So for today's video I am working on my digital coloring. For a while I've just been avoiding doing pretty much any of it at all because I just did not like the way it was turning out for a bit. So for some reason I decided the best way to deal with that was just avoid it completely. As opposed to practicing until I don't hate it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why, where this logic came from. But anyways, so I decided that I need to stop avoiding that and work on it some. So I'm going to be going through and digitally coloring in most, if not all, of my Inktober pieces from last year. I probably won't do videos of all of them, but recently I've been cleaning and sewing mostly, so I actually tore down my normal filming rig for like Speedpaints and stuff, and have been recording me working on various costume pieces mostly. I still haven't quite decided if I'm going to have a completely separate cosplay / costuming channel and stuff, or if I will just include it in here. I'm leaning much more towards just changing Wednesday videos to being mostly costume oriented, just because I don't just time-wise, I don't think I'll be able to manage two separate social media presences. Like, I can barely, manage the one I have now. And yeah, for the very few of you who actually follow me on most of my social media, yeah, this is the improvement. What I have now is the improved version of that. So most likely I will start posting cosplay videos sometime in the next month and a half. I actually have a fair bit filmed, I just didn't know what to do with it, so I haven't edited it or anything. Which is kind of daunting because it's more editing than I'm used to needing. It's not just speeding up, it's transitions and blah. But anyways, so working on my digital coloring because again it's very sad. For a while what I was trying to do was actually keep it simpler by shading and layer and multiply and being really lazy, but I just don't know how to use that, or just the way I use it just does not work for the way I would like my stuff to end up looking. So for this piece at least, I've actually gone back to my default, which is to lay down the flats for the colors, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just the flat colors, and then shade each piece and color individually. This was fairly easy for for Felicity, at least, she's this little witch. She ended up being 4 of my Inktober pieces last year. Before that she was just kind of vaguely Halloween witch. But in this one, pretty much everywhere was very segmented off, so I'm not sure how it's going to come across in some of the later pieces that I need to work on, or the Inktober pieces, I guess, because they have a lot more color details that overlap, but where it's, a pattern or the same material, so it should be, the same shadow, so I'm not sure how it'll go across here. But anyways, I went back to my default of coloring and then picking individual shades for each color, which again, fairly simple in this one at least. I made sure I want to bring the shadows much towards the bluer range and the highlights more towards a yellow to go bring out the moon, and also because I filled in everything with that very pale yellow around the edges, as opposed to, because that's what I do when I have pure black pieces on things. I will put a little outline around it just so it's not pure black with no definition. And in this case, I filled it with the yellow, so it's, you know, form of a highlight. Thinking back, I almost wish I had like messed with the line art or something. I don't know. Just so her hat and dress weren't pure black. Just, it's really flat compared to everything else. But since that was how I inked it, I didn't really want to mess with it any. And also, I'm lazy. But yeah, that's about it for this. Expect sewing and costuming videos at some point. Maybe I'll make like a different opening art or something for that, but not for a bit, because I need to finish / start my costume for Conquest. Because I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do for that yet, but I still have a week, so it'll be interesting. And here's where I worked on the finishing touches and worked on getting the file size down more. It's not as relevant in the smaller pieces, but initially I had the purple background just because that was one of her default colors and it's one I've used in the past for, you know, generic backgrounds, but ultimately decided to keep with like navy and yellow that a lot of stories and stuff tends to default to. I liked the contrast better. And yeah, pretty much just flattened down the file some, I believe I kept the background in 2 parts, and then the rest of it in one with the line art on top. I think that's it. And yeah, here is the finished piece all colored, and as usual, I have all links to all my social media and my Patreon and my store down below, and thanks for watching!